Hey guys, and welcome back to Agrarian Skies. And once again I start with an sorry. So, more on this bit later. I've got different strange trees which will only make sense in a moment. First thing, I want to show you a few crafting recipes. I've already made this one a few times, but not on camera. So this is a sprinkler from Open Blocks. And it's used to basically keep farmland underwater. It's sort of the way I use it. It basically makes it so I can avoid using source blocks. Again, not really terribly relevant, but there you go. Then this presser will come into play at a later stage. It's quite important. And the precision sledgehammer. Now these seem kind of odd and disconnected right now, but don't worry, it'll all make sense in a bit. I can store this and store these things. Now, click here to start. I should have one quest with unclaimed rewards, and that's the cultivating the harvest quest. You remember? The first bit was making these machines and the sickle. Second bit was getting a bucket of sludge, and I'll show you just in a moment how I got that. Don't need any of these, so I'll choose the ender lilies. Now let me actually see. Okay, so I have made the precision sledgehammer already for expanding the farms. We'll see that in just a moment, and a tin upgrade. I think I can just make that quickly. That shouldn't be a problem. Up, up. Give me that. Take that. And I also have stone barrels somewhere, if I remember correctly. Do 2 of them. Should probably make a few more. And by the way, it should be noted I could put a barrel on top of this this generator instead of a chest. And yes, a barrel would work perfectly fine. There's no reason not to, except it would now be a bit of an effort moving that chest. And my current supply of stone is just fine, so I don't need the barrel. Of course, a barrel would work just as well. It would offer more space, and since there's only one item in it, it would be a little more flexible, but just go with it. And ignore the minimap for the moment. Pretend there is no minimap. Okay, I'll make, I don't know, 6. Yeah, that'll work. And you can all go elsewhere. I'll keep this in storage. The flux-infused sickle, I don't use. It has Silk Touch 5, but apparently I think I could use that for basically getting dirt blocks, maybe? I don't know if that actually affects that. But I don't need it anyway. Same goes for the ender lily seeds technically, but I have something in mind for those. Rest of the barrels are here. Okay. That's just fine. I also need a bit of glowstone, but that's elsewhere. Now, my upgrade. I'm sorry, I'm a little sort of all over the place at the moment. Now, you turn into plastic. I think for the tin upgrade... let me just check. Upgrade tin. I think that's pretty much the... Actually, it's the 3rd already. So I need tin, bit of redstone. Tin. Bit of redstone, and I think I have a gold nugget somewhere. There. Up. No, don't. The sledgehammer works similar to a wrench, so it flips the machines around, which again I don't really want. I've also decided that some recipes, if I have to just craft something quickly while I'm not recording, I will craft it, and if it's a new item, I might just show you the recipe afterwards. instead of waiting and crafting it on camera. And the first of our trees has grown. That's nice. Might notice I'm running slightly low on carrot juice. It's not a problem, there's tons of carrots around. I'm hoping to be able to ditch the carrot juice soon, so that's why I'm not currently refilling it. There we go, upgrade tin. And we should now be able to claim reward. I'll go for the third reward bag. Oh, we have moving power as well, which requires a rednet energy cable. These I have never ever used. I've ever only made them. Okay, so I need a rednet cable, which is blah. Well, not interesting. I'll prepare that for next time. I'll obviously do the quest, but it's nothing of immediate use to me. We have a greater reward bag, which is usually junk, but let's open it up anyway. Ta-da! We got a nice reward, which is a flight potion. Yes! Okay. Greater bag, you did not disappoint this time. Flight potion, as you can see, 18 minutes 57 seconds. So just under 20 minutes of creative flight, which means hitting spacebar twice and you fly, stand in the air, you move wherever you like, go up and down, perfect creative flight. Which is obviously great for a map like this. I can take a swig and then build below my base, for example. Very, very important. Very good that we got it. It has 8 uses at the moment, so if I were to use these back to back, that would be over 2 hours of flight. And if I go just a little into blood magic, not too far actually, I could then actually refill it. So I think the weak refilling agent is fairly easy to make, and that gives it 2 uses back. So a little bit of blood magic, and this has infinite uses, say, effectively. I already made a presser by accident, actually, and a hammer. Now I needed the hammer, and I thought to myself, okay, I'll make the ingredients for the presser, and then I'll put it in the chest, as always, to show the recipe. And then as I was crafting, I just randomly crafted it without thinking about it much. So much for that. I want to use these. Actually, no, not quite yet. I made a resonant energy cell. I actually made a few of them, and this one's just currently unused. And a furnace generator because I needed a different source of energy. Anyway, you can go in here. I'm feeling like I'm getting very, very boring again. I need this and I need this. Actually, why am I... One of them is just enough. So I'll just put that down here. It should fill with lava, slowly. I am going to disable this one for a moment. Now this should fill a little more swiftly. And whenever it's full, I can drop in a glowstone, and that should make me endstone. And endstone I require because that's what the ender lilies grow on. However, I made a big change, and that's over there. That's the important one that I kind of... That's why I didn't want you to look at the minimap. And this is now the setup that actually takes advantage of the planter and the harvester and the sludge boiler that we made last time. So I guess the most unusual thing about this is the chandeliers, and I'll show you just very quickly how to make those. I wanted to make sure they actually work before I built this whole thing, so that's why I had to make them already to test them. I don't like testing such things in creative worlds. Anyway, the chandelier is made like this: 2 gold, a diamond, and 4 torches. So not very expensive. And what it does, it says so here on the second page, it prevents any mob from spawning, mobs from spawning within 16 blocks. And this doesn't require line of sight, so it's a light source by itself, but also it prevents mobs from spawning, say, on the platform above, and you hang it on the below ceiling as you would with a normal chandelier. The the reason this is important is because this is a huge area which is automatically harvested and planted by these machines. And if I put down torches, that would cut down on the amount of space I can actually use for harvesting and planting. So I don't put down torches. I'll check that in just a second, actually. And I don't like mob spawning. I could obviously just fence it off and say, okay, fine, I don't go there, so the mobs go there, and that's all good. But instead, I opted for the option putting those chandeliers down, which prevents mobs from spawning up here. I've tested that for several nights now, and nothing is spawning up here, so it's just fine. With the rain, you can't really see the sprinklers, but they're doing what you'd expect them to. There's aqueous accumulators below them, which aqueous accumulators make water even if there's no source block nearby, just very slow, as you can see. But it's just enough to keep sprinklers permanently going, because sprinklers need a water source of some kind. So you need to pump water into them, which the accumulator does. So that works just fine, and it slightly increases the growth speed of all the stuff that I've planted, and it also keeps it wet. So it's you know, like the farmland, if there's a water source nearby, it gets this darker color and it doesn't decay, and that's what the sprinkler does as well. In the same area, I think it's also a 9x9 area that it covers. I'm currently supplying this whole system with energy from this ender generator, which is still going for about half an hour. And occasionally, if I want to top it up a little, I will put some furnace into these some coal into these furnace generators. They just take any fuel that you can use in the furnace and provide power based on that. This might be a little dry again, I'm sorry for that. I guess the first thing I should show is the planter, really. And I made this, that's why I made this this little sort of outcropping at first, which you saw last episode. So this is the planter. It has an Enderium upgrade, which is the highest level of upgrade, and I show you how. I think I actually made those on camera, or maybe I just made the ingredients. It's just like the tin upgrade, except you replace the tin with Enderium, and that gives it a huge radius of 25 by 25. And I can tell it basically where in its sort of area to plant which items. So it plants tomatoes in the middle, for example. It puts the seeds in one corner, and this basically tells it where to go with the seeds it gets. And then when you do this as well, you should make sure to make consume stacks being off, at least in this setup. Because otherwise if you have this on, it will use up every single seed of a certain type. So for example, as long as there's place where it wants to put soybeans, it will use soybeans, and that means if he has 10 soybean seeds and 20 places for them, he will use all his soybeans. And it might then be that he gets filled up on, for example, oak saplings, and even if there's more soybeans coming in, he's not going to plant these, because the inventory is full. So by making consume stacks off, there's always going to be at least one stack of soybean in here. So if more of them come in, he has somewhere to put them. And basically any seeds that come in that can't go in the planter anymore will go into this chest, which is currently empty. And that's not a permanent solution. It's, again, temporary. But I'm hoping it'll last long enough until I have the permanent solution. I don't want to go from one temporary solution to the next. And the harvester has the exact same area. I can actually show you if I equip the precision sledgehammer. This sort of colored area is where these machines work, and that was silly. I shouldn't jump on that. Yeah, that's good. Well, it's not good, but it's fine. Oh, I can't eat while I'm hungry. That's weird. Must be because of the hunger overhaul mod. Anyway, so he's planting all this stuff. Currently, there's sweet potatoes, broccoli, normal wheat, oak saplings, tomatoes. I think that's raspberries, right? Strawberries, soybeans, and corn. The corn will probably be replaced quite soon, actually. Okay, don't need you, don't need you. I do sort of need you. The presser will go here. This doesn't require... no, actually. Apparently links to the fences. I don't want that. Go here then. This doesn't require any power, and it's used to process soybeans. I should turn these things into seeds, right? Just need to make sure. Okay, so tomatoes already give seeds, the strawberries maybe don't. It's a little weird how this works. Basically, when he's harvesting, for example, the oak trees, he is breaking the leaves, which gives him saplings. And he's putting everything he harvests in this chest, and I'm telling him all the seeds, put them back into this tube to go to the planter. So basically, he harvests something, he gets seeds. He puts that to the planter, so the planter can replant. A little confusing, but you get my point. Now, that somehow doesn't work for all the possible crops. Yeah, it's slightly strange, but for example, the tomatoes, when he harvests them, he also gets seeds. So, perfectly fine. He harvests them occasionally, he gets seeds. So eventually I will have the entire plot, and this center one here is the tomato plant. Eventually it'll be entirely filled with tomato plants. Just like the oak one is currently completely filled with oak saplings. But some other things, like I think the strawberries maybe, he just gets the fruit. He doesn't actually get the seed. So I have to manually craft the seed and put it in the planter. It's not really a problem though, because for some stuff, whenever he harvests, it's actually gone, like this. There was a lettuce growing here, but he harvested it, so it's now completely gone. It's just dry wet farmland. But he gets the seeds in addition to that. With the strawberries, when they're mature, he just kind of takes the strawberries, but the plant remains. So once the plot is full, he just keeps getting strawberries, and I don't need to recraft any more seeds. I don't quite know how it looks for the soybeans and some of the other stuff, but yeah, this will be just fine. And the final device which we made was the sludge boiler, which is up there, which I'm trying not to touch. So as the harvester harvests, it produces sludge. As you can see, sludge, 10 millibuckets per operation. Whoa, some thunderstorm, nice. And this sludge eventually would fill up and would make the harvester stop working, so you have to work with it, and what you do is you pump it into a sludge boiler, which turns the sludge into all sorts of different items. Anything in this chest, basically. It makes dirt, it makes sand, it makes gravel, netherrack, soul sand, mycelium, clay, heat sand, tainted soil, peat, and salt. Some of this stuff is useless and will stay in here until Judgment Day. But some of it is actually useful. The dirt, for obvious reasons. The mycelium is kind of nice if you don't... Well, actually the mycelium is useless, let's face it, because I have over a stack of ancient spores now, and more of them incoming. The clay, you kind of need some of that all the time, so that's nice to have at least. Heat sand and tainted soil, I don't think these do very much. They're not relevant to me. The peat, I think I can use that as a fuel source in something or other, but I don't know if I can really do much with it. And salt is used as a cooking ingredient. And yeah, I should probably put the wheat seeds as well. And so mostly I'm doing this actually to get wood. That's why I was pushing for this so early. And it's kind of an overpowered solution for this stage of the game, but it'll come in handy later when we need 10,000 tomatoes for a quest, for example, and there is such a quest. So don't worry, it'll be useful. And it means that eventually I can swap away from using carrots. But what I need for that first, it would be the soybeans, because the soybeans, well, I would usually prefer eating actual cows and such, but the soy beans, you put them in the presser, you make tofu from them, and you get milk as well. And that replaces all milk and all meat in all recipes, basically. It's kind of ridiculous, because a hamburger is not made with tofu. It's whatever. But from a gameplay perspective, it works, and so it's an easy way to get food. Especially the nourishing stuff that's really good, because that usually supposedly contains meat, or in this case, tofu. I also have a ton of other plants that I got the seeds for. This should be all the seeds that there are. There's a bunch of them. I won't go through all of them, but yeah. Some of these I might end up using, depending on what long-term food recipe I stick to. And you also get these special trees from those, from that mod thing. You know, when I made the bone meal, when I made the grass and I sickled it, you also get saplings from them, special ones. Such as, this is a pepper tree, and these trees have fruit growing on them, which eventually mature, and when they mature I can right-click them and get the fruit. Got some olives here, I don't know if I need those for anything. For lemons here. That's pepper. I think pepper is actually useful for some recipes. Should really sleep to make that silly rain go away. But yeah, as you can see, even though it's nighttime and that is a huge dark area where the farm is, I don't actually get mobs spawning. And you just heard a cow. I have a cow. So I did say that stuff could spawn on that grass, but I wasn't sure. And now I am sure. A cow spawned. It's the only one so far, no other animals, and I've kind of let it walk around, just trying to see if it would eventually fall off, I guess. But yeah, we have a pet now, and I should probably really do this quickly. I don't think I've changed much. I've kind of slightly automated this this smeltery, but not really. So don't worry about it too much. I've just basically put a chest here. Anything that I put in the chest automatically gets put in here to be smelted. And any metal that's inside it will automatically get pulled out by this fluid duct. And behind this fluid duct there's another one of these smeltery drains. So you can use the faucets on the smeltery drains, or you can use pipes. And so I'm fluid ducting out the metal, putting it into this casting basin, which will then get hoppered into this chest. Now keep in mind, if you're trying this for yourself, this will only work flawlessly and without causing problems if you make sure that the amount of stuff you put in is always such that you will get a full block. So I'm always putting in raw materials so that I get a multiple of 9 ingots out of it. So for example, I put in enough stuff to make 18 iron ingots, which will then be pumped in here, making exactly 2 blocks, leaving nothing in the basin and leaving nothing in the smeltery. It's quite easy to assure that, but you really have to, otherwise you might get in trouble where you're smelting copper now and there's still some tin left in here. And then it's just not going to be pulled out and it gets quite messy. So try to avoid that, I guess. Now, this should be fine. I think this way I get endstone. And I can activate it again quite soon. I need a... I want to make 8 endstone for the ender lilies. Okay, you can stop now. Actually, why not? Pump it out. And you pump it in. Okay. No. Okay, that way. Pump it out. Empty. Good. Good little barrel. And that one's still making obsidian. I need to add a void upgrade to that quite soon as well. Okay, the endstone, I don't really have a good place to put it, so I'll, where did I put the ender lilies? Somewhere in here? Yes, I did. Okay, I'll put the endstone next to it. Ender lilies grow in dirt as well, but it's faster on endstone. Okay, again, I'm slightly sorry for the boringness and the sort of tedious nature of the dialogue. But I wanted to get this out the way, and I wanted to at least sort of explain how this works. If there's any questions left as to how this functions, don't hesitate to ask. I'm happy to answer. I'm not sure how well I explained it, basically. Getting a lot of that, but we'll get to that next episode. So yeah. I think that's it. That's pretty much everything I did, right? I mean, it took a few hours, but yeah. Okay, so let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.